In ancient Rome, there are many stories of courage, betrayal, and power struggles, but few are as remarkable as the story of Sempronius Densus. He was one man who stood alone against overwhelming odds to defend what he believed was right. His tale unfolds during one of the most chaotic years in Roman history, a time filled with ambition, violence, and the constant battle for control. To understand his story, we need to look at the world he lived in. The year was 69 CE, remembered as the year of the four emperors, a time of chaos and uncertainty in the Roman Empire. Rome, which was usually known for its strength and stability, was in complete turmoil. Just a year earlier, in 68 CE, Emperor Nero had taken his own life after being declared a public enemy by the Senate. Nero, infamous for his cruelty, extravagant lifestyle, and persecution of Christians, had ruled with increasing tyranny. His death marked the end of the Julio-Claudian dynasty, a family that had held power since Augustus founded the empire nearly a century earlier. With Nero gone and no clear successor, Rome was thrown into a power vacuum. Ambitious generals and politicians saw an opportunity to claim the throne, leading to a year of constant conflict. Ancient historians like Suetonius and Cassius describe the chaos of this period vividly. Suetonius called it a state of utter lawlessness, where loyalty shifted constantly as people aligned themselves with whoever promised them the most power, wealth, or security. Cassius remarked that the soldiers held the power of life and death over the emperors themselves, emphasizing how the Praetorian Guard and legions, once meant to protect Rome, now decided who ruled it. This wasn't just a time of political instability, it was a period of deep fear and betrayal. The empire's vast territories watched nervously as events unfolded in Rome, knowing that instability in the capital could ripple out and affect everyone. Provinces often took sides in these power struggles, with governors and generals leveraging their armies to push their own claims. For ordinary Romans, this year meant constant uncertainty. Each new emperor brought new policies, purges, and promises, but none seemed able to bring lasting peace. Once news of Nero being dead started to spread, chaos erupted. A governor named Galba declared himself emperor, taking advantage of the power vacuum, but Galba's rule was short and unpopular. He was known for his strictness, and according to the historian Tacitus, his harsh leadership quickly alienated both the Roman Senate and the army. Tacitus famously said that Galba was more notable than fortunate, meaning he had the reputation but not the luck to succeed. Things took a turn for the worse when Otho, once an ally of Galba, turned against him. Otho had expected to be named Galba's successor, but when Galba chose another man named Piso, Otho felt betrayed. Angry and ambitious, Otho secretly bribed the Praetorian Guard, the elite soldiers tasked with protecting the emperor, and planned a violent coup to seize power. On January 15, 69 CE, the streets of Rome erupted in chaos. The Praetorian Guard, now loyal to Otho, launched an attack on Galba and Piso. Amid this violent power grab, a lone centurion named Sempronius Densus prepared to defend what was left of order. He wasn't a high-ranking official or a famous general, but his actions that day would make him a symbol of bravery and sacrifice in a time when loyalty seemed to have disappeared. Densus was a centurion assigned to protect Piso. Unlike many soldiers who had switched sides to Otho, Densus stayed loyal. Historian Tacitus writes that while others abandoned their duty, Densus drew his sword and faced the assassins alone, striking out in all directions. The Forum, normally a center of daily Roman life, turned into a battlefield. Piso had run to the Temple of Vesta, hoping the sacred space might offer him safety, but the Praetorian Guard was relentless. Forcing their way inside to capture him, Densus knew what was at stake and confronted the attackers directly, fully aware he had no chance of survival. Armed with only his short sword, the gladius or a dagger, a pugio, Densus stood against the heavily armed soldiers. His defiance was an act of sheer determination and duty. As Tacitus wrote, amid treachery and violence, some remained true to duty, choosing honor over life. He managed to wound several attackers before being overwhelmed by the mob. Though his stand was doomed, his actions slowed the Praetorians just enough to give Piso time to flee deeper into the city. Despite Densus's brave effort, Piso's escape was short-lived. The Praetorian Guard eventually caught him and executed him, along with Galba. Otho's coup succeeded, and he declared himself emperor. Still, Densus's courage left a lasting impression. Tacitus praised him as an example of loyalty amid treachery, a rare symbol of honor and duty during one of Rome's darkest hours. After Galba and Piso were killed, Otho took power, marking another chapter in the chaotic year of the four emperors. But Otho's rule didn't last long. Just 3 months later, he faced Vitellius, another rival for the throne, at the Battle of Bedriacum. Otho's army lost, and instead of prolonging the civil war, he chose to end his own life. This cleared the way for Vitellius to become emperor, but even his reign would be short-lived. The year of the four emperors was a time of chaos, betrayal, and constant shifting loyalties. In this turbulent period, the bravery of Sempronius Densus stood out as a rare act of honor. His actions weren't about ambition or survival, they were about doing his duty even when death was certain. Historians, both ancient and modern, have reflected on Densus's legacy. Tacitus called his defiance a moral lesson, showing how loyalty could shine through in Rome's darkest time. He wrote, "In a time of treachery, one man's courage can be a beacon." Honoring Densus's sacrifice, his stand reminded others of the importance of duty and loyalty, leaving a legacy that outlasted the chaos of his time. And with that, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about incredible moments in ancient history, don't forget to like and subscribe.